I'm good. How are you?
I'm Kathryn.
I'm Max.
Nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Kathryn.
Thanks for taking some time out of your day to meet with me.
Absolutely.
How are you this morning?
Good. Busy. There's a lot going on here at Duluth Operating Group.
Well, that's good. That's good news. Bobby did tell me a little bit about your company at the game this weekend, and how y'all have really been doing pretty well the past year or so. And I noticed that your revenue was up, and you have a good sized sales force and things like that. So that's always good to see. Once I mentioned to Bobby that I work for NetSuite now, he really wanted me to get connected with you, and it sounds like y'all kind of need a software update.
Yeah, no doubt. We're definitely having some issues on that front.
Well, good. I'm glad I can talk to you. Well, before I get started, here's my business card. I want you to kind of feel free to call me, email me anytime. Don't hesitate if you have any questions once I leave today. And again, I really do thank you for taking time out of your day to meet with me.
Absolutely.
A little bit of background about me before we get started is I graduated from UGA about a year and a half ago and went straight to work with NetSuite. So I'm definitely new to the business, but I really am encouraged by this company. So I've been working in the Atlanta region for about 6 months and now have 43 clients and hope to have another one after today, including you.
We'll see.
All the clients that I work with now are small to middle-sized companies like Duluth Operating Group. And do you mind if I use
No, not at all.
I want to show you this is our website. I want to show you that on this customer tab, we have customer testimonials and success stories. And so let's say if we looked at the service client of ours that we have, we'll just pick one here. And so this is what it'll look like. But our testimonials, it'll show you information about where these companies are located, what business they're in. So you can look for one that's in a similar business as DOG. It also shows you what operating system that they switched from, so that you can kind of compare that to what you're using now.
Okay.
It also kind of lists, here it lists a lot of their successes as well as the challenges that they had and the solutions that we as NetSuite were able to help them overcome.
Okay.
So if you have time, definitely go through and kind of play with that and look through that.
Yeah.
And I also wanted to show you before we go any further, this is my login. So this is what a salesperson would log in and it would look like. So they would have access to all these different leads, the different opportunities they have, each one of your customers, different forecasting and different reports that you could build for each one of your salespeople. So, and just a little bit more of a background about NetSuite. It is an all-inclusive operating system, and it definitely helps on focusing small businesses like you grow. Currently, we work with about 24,000 organizations and are located in about 160 countries. So we really have grown a lot. But just to kind of give you an idea of where I want this meeting to go today is I really want to ask you some questions about your company and the different roles within your company and how they kind of fit together and work together as a whole. And just kind of understanding some of your goals and whatnot. So, do you mind if I take notes while we
No,
go
do what you gotta do.
Okay. Awesome. To get started, so what are some of your goals for Duluth Operating Company in the next year?
Well, obviously, for any small business, our main goal is just growth. But I think one thing we also are trying to focus on now that we have kind of expanded, we have these 4 locations. We really kind of need to kind of develop a sense of dependence in between our branches, and encourage unity and really develop a sense of company culture.
Okay.
We just need a cohesion that kind of binds together each branch into really one company.
Okay. Yeah, that definitely is needed when you're not right together in one city. So, what kind of management system does your company currently use, and is it the same or different for each branch?
Yeah, that's a good question. Like I said, we have 4 branches, and they're all different ages, so we all operate under different systems.
Okay.
They're kind of custom tailored to what each branch likes, I guess. So they're all operating independently right
Oh wow. Okay.
now.
Have you experienced any issues with that, or how is that on you as a president?
I mean, yeah, it's definitely we experienced everyday issues and bigger issues, but really it boils down to really a big lack of communication.
Okay.
Each branch acting independently. Even the employees within each branch are acting and operating independently of each other. So that definitely brings up some difficulties.
Right. Right. Well, and speaking of those different employees, how many have you hired over the past year?
The past year, well, it's been our biggest year in terms of acquiring new human capital. I would say we probably added close to 30, 40 to our, I guess, 280 now.
Okay, that's great. That's great. I did notice that your growth over the past year was about 3.5%. Is that growth kind of consistent with the 30 to 40 people that you've added this year? And were you kind of satisfied with that growth, or were you expecting it to be something else?
Growth is okay. We'd like to see growth, but to be honest with you, I don't think that 3.5% really reflects the amount of work that our company put in over the past year. I don't think that that 3.5% really coincides with the amount of hiring and just bringing on human capital we did.
Okay. Okay. And what do you think that kind of pertained to? Like, why don't you think there was kind of a linear relationship with that?
That's we are trying to figure that out. I think a lot of it is because of our lack of communication and a lack of company-wide awareness.
Okay, so you are experiencing some difficulties with that. What about, so you're experiencing kind of difficulties with cohesion and collaboration between the branches. What about the different roles within those branches?
There's definitely an issue of communication, like vertical communication within each branch. There's not much communication between our sales team and our maintenance team. There's not much communication between our maintenance team and our managing directors, and that's just because people are busy and they are dedicating a lot of time to just basic everyday operations.
Kind of their own area.
Yes.
Okay. Are you concerned at all, or how do you handle new employees being trained and brought up to speed with the company's processes?
We really don't have much of a training process, and that's been a bit of a big deal over the past year, especially with the amount of new employees we've brought on. It's difficult to train these employees, especially when each branch has their own way of operations. It's difficult to get them acclimated into our company operations. The way we do things might be outdated, and so bringing on new people can definitely bring up some issues.
Right. So I just want to understand. So usually when you hire these new people, do people in the branch kind of just teach them or let them look on to how they do things?
It's like I said, there's a lot of independence. So the new employees, take a lot of time to learn the ways of the company, and a lot of time may be wasted there. It takes a while to see a new employee start producing any sort of significant output.
Okay. So just in general, what are some of your main pain points that you have with your current operations and your current training operations?
One of our biggest pain points is just not having an all-inclusive program, for everybody to communicate. And we have been so busy over the past year. It's been difficult to access any form of communication between branches and between employees at the branches. But I think really another thing is, and this goes along with communication, is just we've really had an inability to share new ideas. Right now, we're having difficulty promoting any sort of creativity creativity are what fuels high company growth.
Right. Well, and kind of going off of that, so there's no really structure for your branches to connect that way. But is there a way for you to easily access what each of the branches are doing, for you to kind of see that progress?
Not necessarily. I work out of our Duluth, which is our headquarters there, and so I know what's going on in Duluth. But sometimes it can be difficult to communicate new company decisions or like I said, new ideas to the other branches, and it makes it sometimes difficult to keep track of what's going on, especially when they're so busy that they can't communicate to the president of the company.
Right. Well, and I'm sure that's hard for you to kind of get things going. So, just kind of based off of all these things, what do you see happening to Duluth Operating Company in the next year or so if you stayed with your current system?
If we stayed with our current operating system, we would make do. We pride ourselves in maintaining our current clients and keeping them happy and satisfying, their needs. We would be just fine in that aspect, but I just don't see growth being a possibility. It'd be very difficult to, increase that 3.5%.
Right. So you'd be fine, but most companies don't want to just be fine.
We don't want to be a small business forever.
Exactly. So how much does not having the right training and implementation for new employees affect your ability to meet your growth objectives?
Again, that's one of the main reasons we haven't been able to grow as much. It takes a lot of time to integrate these new employees to our business environment. Like I mentioned, no matter what employee it is, whether he's a new salesperson, a new maintenance operator, even new management positions, it can take way too long for them to produce any sort of significant output that can contribute to our potential growth.
Right. So they're spending a lot of time learning the process instead of actually being out and selling and doing the maintenance.
And learning the process of what is quite frankly an outdated system and just not very user friendly.
Okay. Kind of based on that training, do you think the right training or not having the right training, is that one of the reasons why you think your growth was no more than 3.5%, even though you hired a decent bit of people last year?
Yeah, it'd be great. Employee turnover and hiring people, if we could just immediately have a solid company-wide system and way of training them and getting them producing as fast as possible. I think that would greatly attribute to high growth.
So if I'm understanding this right, so you really think having someone to come in and really train these people immediately would really help your new employees learn your company operations as well as just kind of overall sales and maintenance.
Yeah, we need one solid method to training.
Okay.
That would certainly make us more efficient.
I also was going to ask you about, would a company-wide access to a database encourage new ideas and communication about those new ideas?
Yeah, right now the only way of communication we have is, word of mouth and, the occasional, company-wide meeting. There really is no daily medium that we can use to share thoughts and ideas, about what can move our company, to the next level.
Okay. Well, and that kind of leads even further. What if you can have access to said database anywhere on any device at any time for your entire employee base?
That'd be great. We work really hard and we put in a lot of hours and we're constantly moving. So it can be difficult to access our outdated database, and a lot of times things are overlooked by employees or things are forgotten by employees and are not inputted into our database, because they'll be out in the field all day and they will, forget about, something that was important to our company operations.
Right. So there's kind of a disconnect. So So they kind of are going out in the field and then have to come back to the office to input that data.
Right.
Okay. So that really does leave room for error.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So, okay. Well, just kind of to summarize kind of what I'm hearing from you is you really would like one easily accessible and transparent database for your entire company to work off of that you would have access to so you could see each branch and really understand where they're going and what their goals are.
Yeah, I mean, that would be great. That's not something I thought possible, but something that we could definitely use.
Okay, good. And another thing that I kind of got from you is you really need something to kind of help each branch and people within each branch to kind of collaborate new ideas and for company tactics and really develop a sense of unity across the entire company.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, communication is key right now.
Mm-hmm. And then one last thing that I kind of heard from you is you just really want kind of a quick and efficient way to train your employees based on that one single program. Is that right?
Yeah, sure. I mean, it just needs to be company-wide. Everybody needs to have this training program for this position, and so on. So.
Okay. Well, just to kind of let you know, NetSuite, with NetSuite, each one of your locations and every employee within that location would have access to the same cloud database. So you all would be working off of the same thing. And like I showed you on my login, your salespeople would have access to all these things. If they need a report, they could go in immediately. NetSuite would have one that they've already worked up.
Okay.
No infrastructure is needed. It's, again, the cloud-based database. So, and NetSuite would also be great for your company in keeping the workforce connected. NetSuite works on any device, anywhere, so that you wouldn't have that margin of error that you do now. It would kind of decrease that because if they were on site or with a client, they could go ahead and input that information.
Okay.
And then one last thing is that for all 4 of your company's locations, you would have access to a training team for all current and future employees. So I would kind of be your contact for that. So if, say, today we move forward with NetSuite, you would get a week of training. And then if you ever had any new employees or any issues, you could call me directly and I would come in and train that new employee for you.
Okay.
How does that kind of sound for DOG?
I mean, that sounds great. I mean, everything you've told me today sounds awesome. And it's, definitely we're in a place right now where we need these sort of improvements. It's necessary to our growth. The only thing I am, I don't want to say doubtful, but maybe just weary of is just how this all works. I really want to get a good feel for the inner operations of the actual system.
Okay.
Because it all sounds awesome what you told me today. It's stuff we need. I just need I need to see it in action.
Okay. What if we maybe scheduled another meeting and we can kind of go through a trial process, maybe with you and some of your Salesforce or maintenance team?
Mm-hmm.
Would that make you feel a little bit better, just to kind of see it in action? Because I know sometimes things do sound too good to be true,
right.
But I want you to see how easy it is to use as well,
okay.
And really see that you it does a lot of the back office things for you, so you really would just kind of be able to go in and check on everything.
Okay. Yeah. I mean, I would love to meet you again and see that. I definitely need to bring on some of my employees. I want to bring on some sales guys and some upper management people from each branch.
Yeah, and I would really like to meet with them and talk to them and
sure.
maybe even see what some of their needs are. They might have something that you didn't even realize was going on, and I can kind of pinpoint those too.
Great.
So,
okay.
Well, when works best for you?
I think probably it have to be in the next few weeks.
Okay.
Why don't you talk with my secretary outside?
Okay.
And set a date, and she'll let me know. And I have your business card. We'll be in
Perfect.
contact.
Yeah, and please, if you think of anything else after, I know sometimes after a meeting you think of all these questions, please don't hesitate to call me or email me.
Okay.
I am here for you to help you in this decision. So
Okay.
I want to help you in any way that I can. But
All right.
thank you again for your time, and it was nice to meet you.
Thanks. Thanks
Bye.
for coming in.
Thank you.
Your password.